Episode 623. Susan here.
Sarah here.
How are you?
And I'm doing great. Let's see. Anything new to update you on? I got my results back from Everlywell. I'm fucking sensitive to everything, Susie.
Yeah. What?
What the hell?
But, like, you're shocked, but not.
Right. I'm shocked, but I'm like, oh, yeah, this explains everything. And the part that's so annoying is that the things that I am sensitive to, multiple doctors have prescribed me or suggested that I try and, like, use.
What do you mean?
Like, especially, so I am sensitive to brewer's yeast, which is in kimchi, sauerkraut, all this kind of good fermented foods. And I've had doctors who have said, you need more probiotics in your diet, so you need to eat all this stuff, and then it'll balance you out. Fuck no, you've been causing that.
Right.
It was the actual opposite.
Right. For
which
most
feels
people,
very similar to something I shared with Susie, which I did not share on the podcast, which was my home remedy for the dust mite attack that I had. I thought that maybe, because, I don't know, I thought you put hydrogen peroxide on things to, like, kill infection and bacteria, so I was doing that, like, 1,000,000 times a day, which then when I met with the doctor, he was like, oh, no, you are burning your skin off and you're causing severe damage to your... What? So the thing, I've been doing the opposite things to help myself. Glad I figured that out before I was, dead. Not of those things, but just, like, in general, like, of old age, like,
I can't believe... I mean, once you told me about gargling with hydrogen peroxide, which I'd never heard of, yeah. I saw that it is a thing, which is news to me. But, like, that shocks me that anyone would do anything with it because it's what I put on my head to bleach my hair. Oh. Like, it's bleach, man.
Yeah. I mean, when you say it out loud, I do hear it.
I just didn't realize people were using this as, like, remedies for stuff.
And here, in my mind, I'm like, is it, though? It's just 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. That's it. H2O2. What's wrong with that?
I've just been using it to remedy my hair color. But
just creating a crater in my face.
When you put it on your skin, though, doesn't it burn like hell?
Yeah, but then I'm like, that's the good stuff, getting rid of the bacteria or killing all. And then I had to go to the doctor, and they had to give me an antibiotic for it because they were like, you are not killing the bacteria. You are creating more space for that infection to live.
Those fucking moving mites.
Fuck those things.
That's the problem.
I know.
Those guys. They are not welcome.
My mom was like, you are not allowed to go in your garage and get that cardboard out of there. So I have to, like, I don't know, convince my brother to come over and, like, empty my trash for me. To just get rid of the boxes.
You should have one of those things that, like, liberals have outside their house that is like, in our home, we, whatever. But just be like, we do not fucking let moving mites in here.
We do not allow cardboard mites.
Right.
God,
that's
the
terrible.
Worst.
You're intolerant of moving mites only.
Yeah, well, and 9 things that I discovered on
yeast products.
Really well. Yeah,
good to know.
Bell peppers, eggplant, chicken, milk, wheat, rye.
So you have like a gluten intolerance.
I fucking do. I didn't want to say it out loud because then it might be true, and then I would have to. And then, Susie, I love bread.
I love bread. You're like Oprah.
Yes, I love bread.
But you have really great gastrointestinal situation, so you clearly don't have Crohn's.
No, I don't.
Well, how are you sensitive to it if everything's ship-shape?
It's not, though.
Because it's the other side.
It's the other side.
Damn. Oh, my God.
Now we've said it on the podcast, and everybody knows, so there we go. We're just normalizing things for everyone.
Maybe that's how it is.
But you know what? Easy fix.
Maybe you can only either have healthy vagina or healthy butthole. And you have healthy butt, and I have healthy vag. Pick one.
Yeah.
I don't know which is
butthole?
Worse. Ship shape, right.
Chef's kiss.
Right, but then
oh my gosh,
Gina's like crabby. How
just
many
angry.
UTIs do you get? Like, you get them a lot?
Yes.
Or no, not UTIs and yeasters.
Yep. It goes back and forth. Just And then I'll go in and they'll be like, oh, the cure for this is more probiotics, which then give me the other stuff. So the doctor's cure has been actually causing the problem.
It's like alcohol for me, cause and cure. Of all my problems. Yeah. That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but the more you know. I'm freaking glad that I have this information.
Yeah.
And that, she's going to be so, like, happy and, like, living her best life.
What are you going to eat instead, though?
Like, fuck it. I'm going to be, like, a caveman, I guess.
Oh, my God.
Which, you know what? Remember when I was on, like... I was eating like that paleo diet, did the 12 weeks, and I was like, I had never felt better. My energy levels were amazing.
Sarah.
I know. I'm that person. Ugh.
You're going to have to shift.
I'm going to have to shift. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I'm not giving up wine.
Oh, my God. There has to be gluten-free wine, right?
There has to be. There has to be. Somebody's invented this. Well, I put up a post on Instagram that was like, because at first I was like, oh, thank God the list didn't say wine. And then I looked in and it was like, and then I was like, okay, well, because it says it's only present in the beer and wine process. Tequila shots it is.
Yeah. I would switch to like vodka.
Yeah, we're going to be like vodka soda and, or like mezcal. I like a little, mezcal on the rocks, some lime. Agave.
That sucks, though. It's not fun.
Yeah. I'm just glad I knew. Or glad I know. I love that. The more you know. Yeah. What's new in your world? How's your vag? How's your beehole?
Well, actually, it's funny you ask because I got my Pap today.
Oh, my Pap Smear. That was a very funny post you put up on Instagram about that.
Well, I do want to know, because you're right about the Pap is named after the male doctor who papped or whatever. But the thing that gets me is
smeared?
Like, what kind of fucking idiot would be like, let's do the second word smear? That is the most...
He loves bagels and cream cheese.
Right? Why?
Somebody's yelling at me right now going, it's schmear, not smear. Yeah. I know. But that didn't work for the joke.
I need to know why they chose that word.
It's the worst word.
It really is. So
the only word that's worse is yeast.
Right. That's so true.
Oh, gosh. This is funny.
And, I go in there and I'm all like a nervous wreck because I'm a sensitive person. So it's a bit of it's not a comfortable experience for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's comfortable for anyone. So
I think some people, though, just don't.
No, the dentist is fun for some people and not fun for other people. I don't know any woman who's like, oh, can't wait to put my legs in metal stirrups and have a plastic probe shoved up my area.
I think for some people it's not painful, though, but for me it does hurt.
Yeah.
It's like the scraping part.
Oh, I hate that. I can feel every woman knows exactly. It's an internal. Right. I hate that feeling.
Yeah. I think it's the female equivalent to having your balls kicked. Because it's like indescribable.
Oh, God.
It's not exactly
making me right
pain.
now hurt, and it kind of makes you like squeeze everything. Yeah,
my teeth
everybody's
hurt.
feeling it right now.
Yeah.
We apologize. Trigger warning. Huh.
Okay, but I got this lady who was super chatty and was like the only person in the world who I know who asks more questions than I do.
Susie, what is the deal with the gynecologist that you get assigned to? I mean, last one sold you a video, a Dollywood video. Bollywood, not Dollywood.
I would have loved Dollywood.
Right.
Yeah. Well, she was super nice. I really liked her, and she was like cool and whatevs, but I just was like nervous, and she was just like asking me all kinds of questions about my life. And then she said, "How did you meet your husband?" And that's always a real minefield.
Oh,
and then
goodness.
she was like, well,
it sure is. It sure is. What do you say?
I was like, it's kind of like this right now. Like, I exposed myself, and then
I was in a very vulnerable situation, half naked often.
And she was like, "What show was it? Anything I would have seen?"
No.
I was like,
Oh, no.
So she's literally massaging my breast, doing the breast exam, and being like, get out of here. That is so fun. And I was like, when will this be over?
Oh, my God.
But
I mean, that conversation already, like, can put you in an uncomfortable position. And when you're already in an uncomfortable position, we're just adding insult to injury here.
And, they love talking about it, whatever. But then she told me I need to get genetic testing because my uncle had breast cancer, which is a red flag when it's a male relative.
Wow. Susie, please. Susie.
Do that.
Yes, please do.
Well, I go, I'm scared, though. What is involved? And she was like, oh, they just swab you. And I was like, oh, so it's easier than this I just went through. Okay. They swab your cheek.
They just swab you. Mm-hmm. Oh, and they're going to test the DNA, your DNA. Is that what you said? Yeah, to see if you have. How do you feel about this?
Great. Like you said, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I just want, that would be good to know.
It would be very good to know. What would you do?
Wow, I hadn't even thought of that. Because I had always rationalized it because he was a pilot. And you know how on airplanes there's radiation.
Oh.
Every flight you take, you get radiation.
Yes.
And so
Suze, this is very interesting.
I thought, that's probably why. But that's just rationalizing. So
it's some good rationalizing.
It could be that, or it could be in my gene. She said, ask him if he had genetic testing, because that way you'll know if it was just like hereditary or environmental.
Yeah.
I'll get to the bottom of that.
Anybody else?
Or the top of it. No, it's just him. So that's what made me think that. My mom doesn't even get mammograms because she doesn't want the radiation.
Oh,
I know.
It feels kind of like.
She's like, Jesus, take the wheel,
Yeah. So let me swab her cheek.
Right? What if I did that against her will? Ambush swabbing.
Yeah.
But if I were to test positive, then I would, obviously tell her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
wow,
that's my story. You're welcome for that information.
Keep me posted. Look at us learning about our bodies. It's about damn time.
That is so true. Bodies are so mysterious, aren't they?
They are so mysterious. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, doctors don't even know where all the parts. They're like, oh, we just discovered this part of the ear. Like, you expect me to know all the parts that nah.
They're back there Googling. Just WebMD.
I'm using hydrogen peroxide and eating all kinds of bread over here. So
Sarah
I'm doing
ate
everything
a whole
wrong.
pizza after her night out.
I fucking did, Susie. With all the stuff, bell peppers. With all the stuff, I basically had a buffet of foods I'm sensitive to.
Sarah got
after a night of binge drinking brewer's yeast.
Oh my God. And then she orders a pizza and then she's like, extra cheese. No, extra yeast.
And no, extra cheese because cow's milk I'm sensitive to. So basically everything on a fucking pizza.
Wait, did you, for real, you're sensitive to peppers?
Yes,
Bell?
Susie.
All?
Yes.
Jalapeno? I know. I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. You should have seen the look on her face. If you're on Patreon, you have to watch it. Sarah just went into mourning.
I'm going to look at all of them. Okay, it is baker's yeast, bell peppers, brewer's yeast, chicken, cow's milk, eggplant, yes, rye, sunflower seeds, and wheat.
This is we should be wearing black with veils. This is a death.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Sarah's joy.
All the fun things to eat. But this, now I'm going to feel good, which is nice. So.
Is it?
I know. It's like a trade-off. I'm like, what do I want this week?
That sucks.
What do I want this month? What kind of month do I want?
Wait, I'm sorry. I should have listened more carefully. Did you say bell pepper?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Bell pepper. And then they give you a list of the hidden place. Eggplant, I could do without. So I was like, don't want that.
Yeah, fuck eggplant.
Yeah. But at least they didn't say tomatoes because I thought it was going to be all nightshades. You know how sometimes those go together? Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, yeah.
I know.
And once I dated this guy who said that he had a sensitivity to bell pepper. And I was like, That's
not a thing.
Yes, right? I totally fucking thought that. And I was like, I definitely in my mind was like, this guy is like, little hippity. Nope.
Yeah. Well,
turns out
eating your words and not
we
eating
had
peppers.
the same diet. We should have had the same diet. And here I
Soulmates.
am, like, in my mind, being like rolling my eyes. When,
that is tragic.
He knew, and
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
know anything.
what you could still eat. This is
What?
good news. Daily Harvest.
What? Yes. Oh, and let me tell you, I love their breakfast bowl, their overnight oat thing.
Yeah.
It is so tasty. Like, there's nothing better than knowing I'm eating something good for my body that will not cause it any sensitive reaction. Right. And it tastes good.
Yeah.
And, like, checks all the boxes, like texture, flavor.
Right.
Like, I like a crunch. Sometimes, like, overnight, it'd be, like, mushy. No, delicious. Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Yeah, it's good for you. It tastes good. And it's already made by the time you get it. You don't even have to do anything. They have smoothies and snacks and flatbreads. And obviously, their chocolate, like, frozen treat is delicious with the avocado in there. These are all with organic fruits and vegetables. Their harvest bowls are wonderful. It's just nice to have stuff on hand for those days when you do not want to cook, you don't want to think about it, and you don't want to get takeout because it's so expensive. It's such a nice option. Healthy and delicious. Avoid the takeout temptation and get Daily Harvest. Go to dailyharvest.com/braincandy to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/braincandy for up to $40 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/braincandy.
Yes.
Really yummy.
I have a update, not really an update, more like an add-on to a subject that we talked about a little while ago.
Okay.
Remember when we talked about the benefits of hugs?
Yes, I do.
There was another study that was done that looked at the effect of hugs on reducing stress levels. And the results are really interesting. So hugs, have you seen this? Did you see this?
There's a difference between men and women, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. So this was some research that was published in the journal PLOS ONE that talks about how, they were looking at the cortisol levels before and after we engaged in a hug and the specific, there are a few things that are specific in this or important to note. It has to be with somebody that we have a connection to. Like for the study, they used their romantic partners. So they were people who were in relationships and, cared about the other person.
That makes sense.
So they had this theory that hugging, we know hugging releases the hormone oxytocin, and it's like the feel-good hormone. But they believed that it also might, like having oxytocin in there would reduce cortisol levels. So they measured and cortisol is like the stress hormone that's terrible. It like wreaks havoc on our body. It's linked to heart disease, diabetes, all these chronic conditions.
Everything bad.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's like all the things I'm sensitive to.
Yeah.
All that.
It's like the yeast of your life.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Thank you. And so they wanted to see if there was a way to reduce cortisol levels by introducing oxytocin. And so they took couples. I want to say it was a very small sample size. I want to say it was like under 100 maybe, or like around 150 or something like that.
Total people or total couples?
Couples.
Okay.
And the other thing to note is that they were between the ages of 19 and 32. So this wasn't, and I'm like, okay, maybe it changes when you're older or like, I don't know, who knows? So an important thing to note. And they put them through a stress-inducing experiment where they had to keep one hand in ice water for 3 minutes. And half of the participants were told to hug their partners for 20 seconds before the test. Mm-hmm. And then they measured their mood and blood pressure and cortisol levels and basically all the things that indicate stress. And then there was, of course, the other group that didn't hug anybody. And they found that women who hugged their partners before the experiment had lower cortisol levels afterwards compared to the control group. However, men didn't seem to gain any
they're psychopaths.
Stress-busting benefits.
They're fucking... Because probably while they were hugging, they got boners or something, and we're just thinking about banging. Animals. They're animals.
why do we think this is?
That's either there's psychopaths or or they were just like, oh, I can feel her boobs during the hug. They got distracted. So, because maybe if they got a hug from their mom, you know.
Mm-hmm. We need to redo the study. Because you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So my mom always told me growing up that a man can only ever really love one woman at a time.
Yeah.
And it's either the woman he's with or his mother.
Yeah.
And it takes men far longer to fall in love than it takes a woman. But it takes a man far longer to fall out of love than it takes a woman.
They're weirdos. All of them. Except Jared.
Except Jared.
That's my new catchphrase. Except
great.
Jared.
And,
okay, you're right, but so are we. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So
okay. What is your theory if it's not the romantic versus motherly love? It might.
Okay.
What else?
Here's what I'm thinking. I did not even think about a theory before this. I'm like making this up on the spot. But what I'm thinking is that if a man is hugging the woman, that's often. Maybe he sees it as he's providing a solution for her in a way, you know, like being I'm
problem solving,
because they love to do that. I'm problem solving. I'm going to, and doesn't, in a way, it's very selfless and very kind and I'm going to give my energy to this hug to help her.
That's a generous assessment.
So maybe it's that the intention is I want to make her feel better rather than I want to gain something from this hug. Whereas when I hug somebody, I'm very I want the good feeling of the hug for me in a weird way.
That's interesting because
my God, I'm kind of a selfish hugger.
No.
Now that I say this out loud, I'm not hugging someone so they feel good.
No, Sarah, you want both.
Okay, sometimes I do.
Because that's why you
I'm going through a stressful event
all the time.
What?
That's why you hug rape me.
I do
and
that.
You'll be like, just let it go.
No, and I make sure it's 6 seconds. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to leave yet.
You're like, just let it happen.
Yes, don't resist me. Yeah, I do that. We should have a hug safe word when it's
consent.
Consent is important.
We do. Hey, did you take that class yet? Is that a secret?
What class? Oh, no, not yet. Yeah.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
If you want.
Oh, totally.
Or you can talk about it now, whatever.
Yeah. What Susie is referring to is there is a introduction to shibari, which is rope play class in Denver, and your girl is going to sign up for it. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what maybe, because you said safe word. I'm sure they emphasize all that stuff.
Totally. That's probably a big part of
class.
It. But you know me, I like to learn about something before I, and you know how I can get obsessed with things. So I bought basically the what was it? Erotic bondage handbook and encyclopedia, and it's no pictures. It's all about safety and aftercare and the emotional and psychological effects of this and how to communicate with a partner and how to. It's basically what sex therapy is. I guess a lot of that when you're working with people who have alternative lifestyles or interests.
I think that's nice.
It's fascinating.
You. I just wouldn't want any kind of sexcapades that I would have to study for. Personally, just for me.
Right. Isn't that weird that I'm like, give me the books. I want to learn. It feels safer. It feels like, when I learn about something, it makes me feel like it's more
empowered.
Mm-hmm. Yes, empowered. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I like having the information.
Where is this being taught though? Community college, or where is this?
Oh my God! What if?
Dungeon?
No, it's like a private club, you're like a member, and they've got rules and.
Is it called sex dungeon?
No, it's much safer nicer than that. It has a cool name too. It's it's very female friendly, very and they really emphasize inclusivity.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard that about the community.
Yeah, it's really great that like all kind of abilities, like, you know, all kinds of bodies, all kind of ages. And I just like the kind of people that attracts is just open-minded. Nice. You know, I like that community.
This seems like a great time for me to mention that if you're wanting to get your motor running, you should try Dipsy.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the segue,
I highly
Sarah.
encourage everybody to explore all parts of
It's similar to what you're describing. Dipsy is a service that lets you find stories that can encourage your own pleasure, help you with maybe whatever's going on in your own bedroom, or just put you to sleep if you want something soothing and sexy to go to sleep to. You take this little quiz, and then they'll suggest certain stories and audio stories to get you going. They're designed by women, and they're meant for women. Yes. Which always usually means good stuff.
Always.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
You can even request like a British accent, you know.
Hello,
if you're
Susie.
like me and into that. For listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/braincandy. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/braincandy. dipsystories.com/braincandy.
Yes, I love that. I encourage all sexual exploration and
Yeah, discovery.
Yeah, it's great. And it's great when you can, feel safe and comfortable to do that in a relationship. I feel like that's like the goal, in a relationship, to be able to have that kind of open communication and discuss things like that, which I have never had before. So it is really fun.
What a nice change.
It is a really nice change.
So anyway, with regards to this hug situation.
Yes.
Is there a broader concept though about how men maybe do have totally separate situations for like nurturing love versus sexual?
They didn't go into it. But what they did say is that it could be that it takes men longer to de-stress. Because they only tested the cortisol levels 20 or 25 minutes after. And the researchers were interested to see what it would be like an hour after. Because with and I know this is, very true. And I often reference this in my work with couples, that when a couple gets into an argument, fight, whatevs, the woman, in order to self-soothe, relies on the hormone oxytocin, which is created through connection and through spending time with others. So women want to be around their girlfriends, or they want to after the fight happened, resolve it by being closer to their partner. And they want to keep communicating because that releases oxytocin, which makes them feel better. Men need to go off and be alone after those fights because they need to. It's why we have a man cave. They need to
distance,
decompress and distance themselves from it to get some perspective, and it takes time. So I think there could be some kind of correlation between those two pieces of information there. Of it could be that we are, and wouldn't it make sense that we would need to be designed to be able to release stress much faster because we go way back in, caveman time. We're looking after babies and there's a lot of things. It feels like more peaks and valleys in the cortisol levels of a woman if she is looking after a child all day than maybe in a man's if he is
just laying in
stalking one animal for 48 hours and you see where it is there's a little bit of that in the chase, but then they have the long fucking walk home to decompress, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I think, I just kind of trace everything back to every behavior serves a function. Every behavior is beneficial, even if it is not in the way we want it to benefit.
I look forward to learning more about the concept of gender being on a spectrum is sort of a new idea, at least new to us. And I look forward to learning more about that because we all know these things where like you hear a study and like they can generalize, but it might not apply to you. Like, for instance, I prefer to be alone after a fight. I don't want to connect. That's more masculine according to that information. But like if gender isn't binary and is some, fluid and whatever, then that could lead to more helpful data.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a more masculine, whatever, brain when it comes to sex. Where there isn't as much of a emotional connection that gets created. I can separate the two. And when I took the MMPI for the challenge, they told me that. My results showed that.
About
sex?
Like,
yeah. They said you have what we call a tomboy brain or tomboy mentality, and you are more pragmatic and logical, and you're able to separate emotions and like sex and emotions.
Right, but in other ways,
easier than like the average woman would. It makes sense.
But in other ways, you might just like really love hugs and then connecting after.
100%.
Feminine.
Yes. Oh, your girl loves a cuddle. And I can feel the oxytocin. Like, I feel it. Like, it feels like a drug. Like, I really can feel it when it's in there. It feels so good.
It's nice for you.
Yeah. Do you like, like say you have like the big O. You really feel that like drugs in your brain? Like your eyeballs roll back a little bit and like you could kind of feel it like. Yeah.
But I don't want to
like
snuggle.
Almost like in your, like, what?
I don't want to snuggle after.
You don't? Oh my gosh, you do like that space. You don't need that.
No, but I get why some people might.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I become then addicted to it, and after it goes away, I'm like,
what part? The
hugs,
part.
the cuddling.
All of it.
Yeah. I actually read an article. I was going to talk about this on the podcast last week, but I somehow skipped over. I don't have the information here right now. But the summary of it was cuddling after sex, or just cuddling. Didn't even say after sex, but cuddling, creates connection, brings people closer. But when that goes away, you'll be in withdrawals. There's like a withdrawal that happens when your cuddle partner is not there.
It's like that addiction crap I was talking about.
Yes, it totally is.
Basically, anytime you feel euphoric, you're going to pay for it. Because the body wants you to get back to the center. And also, and likewise, when you feel despair, you will likely regress to the mean. Your body just wants you to be totally evened out.
Yeah, I think that being addicted to cuddling, though, might be like a healthy one.
Might be the antidote, yeah.
Yeah, because it provides, like, it boosts your immune system. It makes you, like, has a bunch of good benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, skin to skin.
Yes,
even with new babies, like whenever you're supposed to snuggle without your shirt on or whatever.
So cute. Yes, I love seeing that. Okay, and we're going to take a complete left turn. I guess that. But your skin to skin kind of reminded me of this. This is like going to be super disgusting.
Awesome.
Are you ready for this?
It's ideal. Yeah. Super disgusting.
Have you ever wondered how big the goo ball would be if you blended up all the people on Earth?
Never have, Sarah.
Well, I have the answer for you. So some mathematician decided to work that whole equation out. And if you take all of the living people on Earth and you put them into a really big blender and you extract everything that came out of that and decided to shape it into this like human meatball, how big do you think it would be?
Is it smaller than you expect?
100%. Gross me out.
Tell me.
You gotta give me a guess.
Like, give me a metric.
Oh, like a thing where we're measuring you. We're measuring this. You know how like Americans love to use anything but the actual system of measurement that we have. So we're gonna measure this in buildings. Famous buildings. Famous large buildings.
Well, the only famous one I really know is the Empire State one.
Okay.
Is it as big as that?
Nope.
Smaller. Is it like the shed in my backyard?
It is just under 1 kilometer wide, which is about 3 Eiffel Towers. Actually, I don't even know if that's bigger than the Empire State Building. I just took a guess. But they didn't say Empire State Building, so I just...
Right,
3 Eiffel Towers.
3 Eiffel Towers?
That's it. And if it would fit inside Central Park.
Is it because we're mostly water?
I think that's included. I think we're like...
Water included?
Well,
I believe you. I just can't believe you.
Goo. So the equation, the density of a human, they looked at the density of a human. How dense are we? So, water is included.
She just said that about goo. Okay, go ahead.
Goo.
Goo.
The density of a human is 985 kilograms per cubic meter, which happens to be close to water, they said. So that makes sense that we're because we're majority
mostly water and then just a little bit of meat.
Yes. And the average human body mass is around 62 kilograms. So if you could blend people up, you can probably stuff about 16 humans into a cubic meter. But don't try it. Just take it. So for the 7.88 billion people in the world, they could be squeezed into 496 million cubic meters.
I don't accept
and that
this
would be about the size of 3 Eiffel Towers.
That's bonky.
Yeah, and there was also a study. They said that there was another equation that was done that said you can fit all the people in the world inside the Grand Canyon. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Not even blended.
Yeah, full-bodied.
Full bodies. No blender needed. They'll all fit.
I don't like it.
I know. I don't know if it makes me feel like there are a lot of people or less people than I think there are on Earth. One of the craziest facts, you know how I love facts, one of the craziest facts I've ever heard, if you were to take the Earth and take out all of the space in between the atoms and in between the molecules, you know how everything is
Didn't you
a
say
lot
it was
of space
a
in
freaking
between.
Postage stamp or something?
Fucking the size of a cube of sugar. What? What is that? The whole Earth, everything, the whole thing, not the people, all of the Earth and everything on it. A sugar cube? Oh my God, I can't even talk. I'm getting too worked up. Huh?
I don't even need to be here. That's what's so great about this.
I'm sorry. Doesn't that make your mind explode a little?
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
And then just pop one of those in my mouth and it's gone, disappeared, just like that. We're nothing. We're a speck of dust.
I told you, but we got the optical illusion book. Well, it is funny, whenever we get to certain ones, when Lincoln looks at it, he's like he doesn't want to keep looking at it. It freaks you out. Or when you think about eternity and you hit that point where you're like, no, I don't like it.
I had to drop out of my astronomy class because when they started talking about the size, I was like, no, I'm out. I'm good. I'm going to stay right here on this teeny tiny little planet.
Is not meant to think about things that big.
No, that's why we have to do it in building sizes because our mind can wrap around that. And can I share my screen? I'll pull up the picture of what the meatball looks like because they decided to illustrate it. Which is
people don't really think Jeff Bezos is as rich as he is because we can't understand how much money that is because it just sounds like million, billion, whatever.
Okay, I've been meaning to share this for so long. I have a list of somebody did that math of to put it in a way that we can understand a little better, and it's freaking so weird. So let me think of one off the top of my head before I find. There we go. The sound, it's like a whisper. Oh, here it goes. A whisper. The volume of a quiet library is the U.S. household wealth, and Bezos' wealth would be the roar of a jet taking off. The height of a piece of a Toblerone chocolate would be the U.S. house wealth. Mount Everest, if you climbed it 5 times, would be Jeff Bezos. Those two compared to each other. A tiny flake inside of a snow globe compared to the height of the Statue of Liberty. The weight of one single peanut versus the weight of a truckload of peanut butter. 1 ton. A microscopic drop of champagne or an entire flute of champagne. I mean, I love that. It's the diameter of an Oreo cookie versus the diameter of the Grand Canyon, where you can fit all of the Earth's people.
I still think people can't grasp it.
I know. It's still hard. The size of a white blood cell or an entire humpback whale. What the fuck? That's crazy. My mind barely. It's only with the images that I help when you kind of see that. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it sucks because it prevents action to like counterbalance.
Because we can't even wrap our minds around.
Yeah, it's just like, Oprah's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. It's the same. It is not the same.
No, it's not. Not even close.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
Countdown to when my Amazon is up. I only got about 4 more days left.
Well, because when I told my mom about your moving my problem, she was like, what's she doing about Amazon? Because, the boxes. And then
Fair.
I didn't even go into it because I didn't want to talk to her about it. But I thought in my mind, well, she doesn't even have Amazon.
Right.
But
I weaned myself off. I haven't made an Amazon purchase in I can't remember how long. Because,
really?
Yeah. I've been like, you're just going to have to go out and get it places. And I am learning that there's so much more that's cheaper not on Amazon. They've like switched it.
Well, that makes sense.
But
But
and
I don't even feel like
control
people are doing it for the thrift of it.
No, they're not.
It's the convenience of it.
Yes, 100%.
And the speed.
100%. Yeah.
So you don't run into any problems though.
Not so far. But I've really been trying, like since I've moved to Colorado, I've really been trying to reduce my
consumption.
Because there are things that I want more, I have a long list of gear I want to buy, and that good gear is expensive. So I haven't been, doing the things that like I did during the pandemic. Like I'm not like, I don't know, like buying little things here and there that I don't really need, like $10 here, $10 there, $20 here, blah, blah, blah. It like all adds up. So I'm trying to like use the stuff I have more or get rid of things before I get anything new. And I'm really just like saving up for good quality things that you don't buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's great. I think you're doing the right thing.
Things that cost 20 times as much and you buy them at REI. Ugh. Yeah,
right.
No, whatever. Yeah.
I do love REI though.
I do too. We have a planned trip there on Sunday to just try things.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yes.
Tell me what.
Like I need a camp chair, and so I'm going to test out all the different camp chairs.
Like what is your idea of a good camp chair?
I want one. Well, I'm looking for everything to be ultra light, so I need it to be like under 1.5 pounds and be able to fold up really small for like ultra light backpacking.
You mean like kind of like a stool?
Yeah, but they have ones now that are really, really lightweight, and they're almost like those butterfly chairs that they give you a full back and they're mesh, and they're super, super light, and it's just finding the one that fits comfortably for, like some are lower, some are higher. So you're just finding the seat that fits the best for you, because when you're doing like a big backpacking trip and that's like your only chair, you want to make sure that you're like, you got a good one. Mm-hmm. And so I need a chair, I need a sleeping bag, I need some new hiking boots because I already wore through my other ones.
What do you mean wore through?
Like the bottom, remember? And I think I talked about this on the podcast. The bottom of like this, I was going back and forth. Do I buy a new pair or do I glue the bottom of my shoe back on because the shoes fit really well?
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to break in a new pair before a new trip.
Yeah.
So one of our listeners sent me a link to Shoe Goo, which is a glue for that exact purpose, and I glued the bottom of my shoe back on. And
but it's like
now I'm looking into
like
a
forever.
hiking boot that comes with lifetime sole repair.
Yeah.
since that was the problem. For only like $50 more than the regular one, which seems very worth it. So,
yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, so it's things like that. Got to try on the shoes, got to find the right size. Yeah.
So if you took the ones that are like worn out to a cobbler,
yeah,
right, and went back in time,
yes.
Would
first got a time machine? Yeah.
Would you be able to get them cooking?
No, because the seams are ripping around like where the laces are. It's just new shoe time.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P. I mean, they went many miles. They traveled Machu Picchu, all the camping that I did all last year, all the backpacking I did last summer. They've been miles and miles. And I think, shoes only have a certain amount of miles in them before.
Just like people.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just read a little article. It was just like a little summary that this guy broke the record for most miles ran in one straight 350 miles without stopping. It was like 40 plus hours, and the maybe more. And one of the things he had to do was he had to switch out his shoes like 5 times because he wore through the shoes, and his feet kept swelling. And the previous record holder, I want to say, was like 300 miles, and he was the winner of the Badlands race, which is the longest marathon that takes ultra marathon that takes place in I believe Death Valley, and my mom photographed it a few years ago, and she showed me all the photos of the feet afterwards that she took. It was gross, but also
there's a great
really
book about ultra marathoning called Born to Run. If you haven't read it,
oh yeah,
it's really good. I mean, I don't get it, but it's nice to hear about other people.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm born to sit, personally.
Yes, born to sit. That Susie's coming out with the follow up.
Yeah, right. The alternative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To each their own.
Yeah. So I told you about the people meatball, but I also heard a interesting little piece of information about some other meatballs, the famous Ikea Swedish meatballs.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh, okay. 2 things.
One, I've eaten them.
Mm-hmm. No longer from Sweden. They're like not actually Swedish meatballs. They're from Turkey. Also, a lab in the Czech Republic tested it. Horse meat.
No.
Yes.
Globally?
The meatballs contained DNA of horses, which,
globally,
I've eaten before and is fine, but, kind of want to tell the consumer that you're eating horse meat.
Yeah, in France, that's very common.
Same in Italy. I had some delicious horse.
Oh, my God.
I mean, but, it's kind of like...
Why aren't we into that around here, if it's so yummy? What seems to be the problem? It's
an acquired taste. It's very gamey. It's kind of like
I know, but deer is gamey, and we will eat that. I mean, it's not crazy to eat deer, venison.
Maybe it's the pet thing.
That's stupid.
I know it is. I sound horrible saying that, but
that's totally a societal, cultural thing.
I have no problem with
I'd eat my cat if I had to.
Susie, I don't think I could eat Bo. Oh my God! I'm having all kinds of feelings.
Sarah,
definitely cannot eat Bo.
Here's why it's totally different. My cat would eat me if it could, and
100%. Your cat is already planning on which body part it would eat first.
Our tigers, they would maul us and whatever. Dogs, okay, maybe a wolf would eat you. Yeah. Okay, so maybe Bo would if worse come to worse.
I know, you're like, now that I say it.
Yeah, now you can't eat Bo, but you can eat a cat, right? Like if it were in a pinch.
I mean, is it a mean cat? You could eat your cat.
A cat.
Like, how hungry am I?
Death, life, or death. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. We're eating that cat. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't eat Bo. I couldn't, oh, my God. I couldn't do it.
Really?
No, I don't think I could. I'd rather starve. I actually would rather starve. I'll die. I mean, I don't know the power of starvation. I've never experienced that.
Listen, if there's one thing I know about you is that those things don't really matter. Like, your survival does not trump your ethics.
Right.
And
wait.
Yeah.
My survival does not... Like, my ethics trumps my survival. Yes, this is true for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sarah would die before she gave in to something she didn't believe in.
100%.
I would not.
She's like, I'm throwing
Just
those
so
ethics
we're clear.
right out the window. Come here, Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, because my highest ethic is not dying, but
right.
yours is not.
Kind of sounds like not a good evolutionary strategy, Sarah. But,
well, actually...
people pleasers gonna people please.
I mean, this is a stupid example, but obviously motherhood trumps all of that. And I was thinking about it last night because we played Monopoly. That was our first time as a family playing Monopoly because he's 10 and he gets it.
Yeah.
And so it's time. It's time to play Monopoly.
It's time.
And I just really wanted him to win. And I just was reflecting on that because I'm very competitive. I mean, this isn't survival, of course. Right. But I just thought, wow, that is so funny that I would much rather him win than I win. Mm-hmm. And
that is that sort of like, I want my offspring to survive.
Yeah.
Like you can extrapolate from that and like what that means. And
yeah. But it's a funny thing to like actually experience it and then reflect on it and see it in just a small everyday level. But otherwise it's Lincoln, me, and then pets.
Adam not even made the list.
Well, he's on his own. I mean, what do I got to do around here?
Oh, my God.
He's got his own mom.
That's right.
For
He's got his own mom. Go hug her. Oh, God. That's so funny.
Go hug her. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Whatever.
No, I mean...
Ikea meatballs have horse meat.
Ikea meatballs.
Well, so what are we going to do about it?
No, not call them Swedish meatballs anymore. However, so I should have said IKEA Swedish meatballs. Only 2 of those words in that sentence are accurate.
Balls.
Meatballs.
Oh. Well,
that's one
I
word,
guess they are meat, technically.
And from IKEA. That's about it. Yeah, because technically it is meat. They didn't specify what kind. So
it seems though, like, at least in the U.S., we have... you have to report ingredients and nutrition facts. So were they reporting that this was horse?
No, they were not. And remember a while back we talked about when the guy from IKEA, like the main, like head guy who created it, like he passed away.
He's a piece of shit.
His kids took over. They have changed the parts on I recently assembled some IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
The parts have been, like, any place that they could turn something that used to be metal into plastic, they did. I know. It, like, cost cut. I saw it for, like, a teeny tiny end of one of the screws. Like, their classic, you know, that, like, locking mechanism?
Yeah.
Where it's like you put the pin in and then you twist and it's always been metal. Not anymore. The end of that is plastic, which is not going to last. And,
that's really disappointing.
And then they also had the idea of using bug-based protein in the meatballs.
Oh,
remember that? Yeah.
Crickets
so I
and
feel like
stuff.
Like they were like, well, let's not use bugs. People think that's weird. Let's use horse instead and just like not tell anybody. It feels like they did that. I don't know what those kids are doing. They're like driving IKEA into the ground.
That's crazy. Are people mad or is it just us?
It might just be us. I don't know. I heard this on Wait, Don't Tell Me. So, you know, sometimes you just get the little factoid and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. But no, it doesn't seem like there's too much outrage. But how mad can you get about Swedish meatballs?
I think pretty mad because I don't think
with furniture at those prices.
I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I don't think that horse meat is legal to be consumed.
It's not. Right.
In the U.S.
That's it. It's not.
So I feel like you could get pretty mad about that because...
Yeah, good point. Excellent point.
Felonious.
I don't know.
Those IKEA prodigy.
I know.
Progeny. Well, yes. I am disappointed because he sucked. Remember, he would pretend to be super frugal. That was what we learned in this episode way back, and that he was like, he would act like he embodied the IKEA sort of ideal of like minimalism and whatever, but then he would like fly first class or private jet or whatever, but pretend like he flew coach. He was a real hip, that guy. And he had like a
they were all about presenting one thing and then really doing another. Incongruent.
It's very disappointing, IKEA.
Mm-hmm. About as disappointing as the construction on their furniture.
Yeah. True. Not all of it. They have some good stuff.
I know.
Their glassware is nice on that bottom
they're sold out of the one thing I really need more of, which are those wire closet systems, like the mesh baskets. Those were so good, and they locked together, and they came in a few different sizes. I need like 4 more, and they don't make them anymore.
Oh, that's a job for eBay.
I know. I'm on the.
You're on the hunt.
I'm on the hunt.
Okay.
What else do I have a little. Oh gosh, I had so much fun stuff today. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
This is just oh gosh, they're so fun. Do you want to hear about things that are happening in Las Vegas with Elvis, or things that are happening in California with bees?
I'll do the bees because I know about the Elvis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, California has the Endangered Species Act, and it was designed to protect. This is the quote. This is how it's written in the law. Native species or subspecies of a bird, mammal, fish, amphibian, reptile, or plant. There is one thing missing from that. Insects.
Yeah.
And invertebrates. So they're absent from the list. So in California, there was an appeals court that created this like loophole for insects and basically other spineless creatures that fall under the umbrella term invertebrate. And so now the act has made it so bees are classified as fish in California.
No.
Yes. So because the act then defines fish, you have to look at like what the definitions are. So the bees do not fit into the California Endangered Species Act language, but if you look at the definition of what a fish is, they've now created fish to be a wild fish, mollusk, crustacean, invertebrate, amphibian, or spawn or ovum of any of these animals. And since a bee is an invertebrate, it now qualifies as being a fish. So bees are fish.
Okay, so they protected the bees.
Yes.
Instead
there was going to be
just...
no protection for the bees if they did not rewrite this. And the western bumblebee is the crotch bumblebee, which now I need to have more information on why that was given that name and what, question mark. That'll be in the next episode. Franklin bumblebee, the Suckley cuckoo bumblebee, and the western bumblebee are all endangered species and are all facing extinction. And so they needed to come up with a way to protect them, and they created this loophole.
I love that. I love that they're protecting them.
Yes.
It must have been, for whatever reason, it must have been much easier than just changing the language.
Of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
We're
great.
changing like the definition of it rather than the law itself, because there's got to be something like you would have to vote on the law, but you only have to appeal to a court or something about the definite. That kind of makes sense of like, well, what is considered.
I was telling Sarah this story beforehand, so now I'll share it with you because it's hilarious. I was talking to Lincoln about the tragic school shooting recently, and just curious about whether they were doing drills at his school or not. And he said they just do fire drills at his current school, but that when we lived in California, they did, quote, all the drills. And
the drills.
And I was like, well, what are they? What were all the drills? And he said, fire drills, earthquake drills, bees.
Bees. What?
And I was like, excuse me, what do you mean bees? What kind of drill? And he was like, well, like if there's like a swarm of bees that get in the school, like what do you do? And I'm like, well, what do you do? He's like, you just get under your desk. But the school wanted to make it authentic. And so over like the school-wide intercom, they played buzzing bees.
You know, I'm glad there's buzzing bees, not that song that's The Flight of the Bumblebee. Oh. Which is where my mind went when you first told me that story, where it was like, you know that I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's that. The Flight of the Bumblebee. I'm going to
add that music right now.
Please do.
Enjoy. Isn't that great? I mean,
oh gosh,
like I need to know more. Like
that would have been a better song.
I wanted to know, like, if this was it must be a law that they have to do.
Yeah, watch out for the fish.
Because maybe like at some school in California there was like a swarm that got in, then from everybody else, it's like the shoe bomber. So then we all got to take our shoes off at the airport.
Right. It's got to be something like that.
But just picturing him listening to this intercom, playing the bees, and that is normal for our kids. I mean,
if I had a bee allergy, that would be really terrifying.
Triggering.
Totally. You're like,
and
you don't know where they're coming from.
Make the active shooter one realistic. I don't want any noises that resemble that. You know, on the intercom?
Yeah. Oh, God, that creeps me out.
All of it is horrific and terrible. And to him, this conversation was just like, not, like there was no reaction because this is what our kids think is normal. So that is what we need to undo, everyone listening. Because there's nothing normal about it, including the bee part.
Nothing normal about any of that.
Yeah.
And as somebody who spent my entire elementary school career in California, I can confidently say I never had to run from bees.
But you did earthquake drill, right?
Definitely did earthquake drills.
And you didn't do shooter.
Did not do shooter in elementary school, but I did in college.
Right. Post-Columbine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nightmare, everybody. I hope that you're paying attention, and I hope that you are really reflecting on what it means to be a Christian, what it means to be an American, what it means to be a citizen of this earth, and why you have the values you do. Because I have some questions for a lot of people who are pro-life in particular.
Yes. Well said.
Thank you.
Yes.
But better days ahead. We'll like make our fatal mistake and be optimistic.
Right. I'm going to be optimistic. I am.
We'll try our best. I was hoping, after I sent Sarah the video of Matthew McConaughey with those green Converse.
Like 4 seconds before we came on here, so.
I know.
You know.
We're in a mood.
But I thought crying first.
We need to make our brain candy high tops in green to commemorate. But then I was like, I don't want to make a profit. Maybe we could donate to Everytown.
I love this. Donate it.
We'll think about that. Because that was very powerful.
It was very powerful. Oh, I'm going to cry just thinking about it.
You don't want us to cry. We will leave you with that. Thank you for listening. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell a friend. We love you.
We love you.
Bye everyone.